Welcome back to Stat Plus, your go-to channel for smarter conversations on global markets, technology, and policy. As global trade tensions rise due to the U.S. administration's aggressive tariff policies, India faces unique challenges and opportunities in redefining its trade relationships. Today, we'll explore how India's evolving partnership with the European Union could become a game-changer for key sectors like electronics, textiles, petroleum, and more. Let's unpack what's at stake and why the upcoming India-EU free trade agreement matters now more than ever. The recent tariff pressure tactics being deployed by the Trump administration might improve the U.S. trade position in the short term, but they risk alienating major world powers. The magnitude of these proposed tariff hikes is substantial. If implemented, they could disrupt global trade flows and have lasting economic consequences on several top economies, including the EU, China, and the UK, which are already grappling with slowing GDP growth rates. As discussed in our previous analyses, India stands in a relatively better position to offer concessions to the US and balance the trade deficit, particularly through increased energy imports and defense equipment purchases. In this evolving global scenario, India has a unique opportunity to establish stronger trade ties with other developed economies, particularly the European Union, India's second-largest export destination. Due to increased trade pressure from the Trump administration and the U.S. withdrawal from several climate treaties, the EU may now be more willing to relax its stringent environmental tax policy, which threatens to impose an additional tax of 20 to 35% on Indian exports, including textiles and steel, starting in 2026. Furthermore, China, Japan, and South Korea have recently agreed to jointly respond to U.S. tariffs and are accelerating negotiations on a trilateral free trade agreement to bolster regional trade ties. This development underscores the need for India to expedite its FTA discussions with the EU to strengthen its own trade alliances. India's imports from the EU have remained relatively stable in US dollar terms over the past 3 years. Meanwhile, India's exports to the EU displayed significant growth post-COVID, from $54.5 billion in 2021 to $71.1 billion in 2022, and approximately $76 billion in 2024. It is important to note that this export surge represents genuine growth rather than merely a post-COVID rebound. Looking at the past decade, India's exports to the EU range between $43 to $53 billion from 2013 to 2019, which sets apart the 2022 peak of $71 billion, a 35% increase over the pre-pandemic range. The largest contributors to India's export surge to the EU were petroleum products, $3 billion, textiles and clothing, $2 billion, chemicals, $3.5 billion, telecom equipment, including mobile phones, $2.8 billion, iron and steel, $1 billion, agricultural products, $1 billion. These export figures have saturated or slightly declined from these 2022 levels since then. The primary reason for this slowdown has been the Middle East conflict, which made shipping via the Red Sea and Suez Canal difficult. Notably, this disruption has also coincided with the rupee weakening by 14% against the euro over the past 2.5 years. The EU leadership now appears committed to finalizing a free trade agreement by the end of this year. This development, alongside a ceasefire and likely resolution to the Middle East conflict, should trigger a rebound in India's exports to the EU across these key sectors. For Indian manufacturers and exporters in electronics, petroleum, textiles, chemicals, and steel, these twin developments represent significant positive catalysts in the coming months. At Stat Plus, we strive to equip you with insightful analysis so you can engage in smarter conversations wherever you go, whether you're at work, school, the gym, or chatting with friends over coffee. We'd love your thoughts. Do you think India's closer ties with the EU can effectively offset risks from escalating US trade conflicts? And how should India balance short-term gains with longer-term economic considerations? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for regular updates. Stay informed, stay ahead. See you in the next video.